Okay, it's March 30th, about 50 degrees here on Long Island. What I'm going to do here, try and repair this transom. We had water intrusion right here. This is all delaminated. Wood's rotten inside, you can see it. Now, Grady White, back in '81, used these brass plugs for the scupper holes. And also the drain hole also has a brass plug, which I've already cut a hole into because I'm going to remove it. I thought that there might be water down there, and sure enough, as I used this hacksaw blade and sliced a hole in there, lo and behold, water started dripping out. I've got all about that much already. Maybe it's been dripping 10 minutes. So this hole must be loaded with water. I'm going to peel that out of there. Let it dry a couple days. The idea is to drill holes all along here. Got this idea from a local marine guy. I trust him. He says he fixed a 34-foot hull on a boat that cracked with this stuff. It's called 610. It's by West Systems. It's an epoxy that you inject into the hull, and of course it dries like an epoxy. And if all goes well, this hull will be solid as a rock in about a week. Just ordered the epoxy 6 tubes from Jamestown Distributors, and we're going to drill the holes today. Now that I see all that water down there, I'm going to see if I can give this time to dry out. So in a little while, when I'm drilling the holes, I'll try and shoot some more video. Right now we're going to peel this piece out. A lot of water coming out. Just put that in last year, well actually 2 years ago. Wasn't any water in it then. Seems to be water now though. Oh yeah, it's twisting right in the hole. It's got a flange on the other side to peel that away. We'll get that out in about 2 minutes. Okay, so I marked out where I'm drilling. I drilled a couple holes already, 2 inches apart, and then staggered 3 inches down, and then I did 4 inches down so they wouldn't line up directly with the mounting holes to the outboard. So I'm starting to drill, and I drilled a hole right under here, and unfortunately a bunch of water came out. Kind of figured it would anyway. Already took this tube out of that hole. Water came out. In fact, that's how much water came out so far. That's a lot of water. So, boat's tilted back. All the water's going to gather here, I suppose, near the hole that I drilled. Will help it air out, plus all these holes that I'm drilling. And so far I've drilled 3 holes. Got all these black marks marking out the rest. And these 3 holes here, soft wet wood came out. I also took off that piece from the transom that runs my depth finder, sonar. It gives me speed. I just bought a new Garmin, so I think that comes with a new one. You can see all the holes. This is where we're going to drill. I'm going to let this baby air out probably for about a week, maybe more, it depends. I want to make sure all the water's out of there, and then we're going with West's 610 epoxy. Oh, I mentioned my drill bit. I set a stopper on there so I wouldn't drill through the other side. And it goes through almost, as you can see. And of course, safety mask and goggles are important to have. Guess that's it for now. Once I drill all the holes, maybe I'll throw a little more video. Well, we're drilling holes. Got a series of them drilled all the way across. Water still dripping out. Even have water right here. That was the most recent drill. Most of the wood that's coming out looks like that. Wet, moist, sawdust. All the way down here, and I still haven't hit any solid wood, so I'm guessing the whole transom is probably full of mush. But hopefully not for long. So drill some more holes. Let's see what we get out of this one here. I'm gonna drill all the way through. Look at the water coming out. Wet. That's soaking wet, that wood. Well, what I expected to find anyway. All these holes not only let the water out, but it'll also dry it. So when we put that epoxy in, just figured I'd take a break now. My hand is killing me. I'm drilling all these holes. I didn't even drill all the way through, just drilling through the surface fiberglass. I'm going to drill all the way to the other side. It's a little easier once you get through the fiberglass. Guess I'll continue all the way down, maybe down to here. I don't want to sacrifice too much of this fiberglass transom's integrity, but still have to get the moisture out too. Well, as I drilled through the wood, a lot more moisture came out, as evident from these lines, especially down here. A lot of mud. A lot of moisture. Every bit of this wood was wet. None of it solid. Although some drier in some spots than others, I guess. All the water gravitated down to the bottom. That's why so much came out when I drilled that bottom hole. Hoping it'll all dry out now. There's all the fiberglass and the wood dust. Kind of smells like the Grady White factory all around here right now. Nice people over there. I visited the factory, but I'm not too happy with the hull right now. Especially this transom and the way water got in. Maybe a lot of boats were manufactured that way back then. Was a while ago. Anyway, now we let it air dry. Well, the hull pretty much resembles Swiss cheese at this point. Got just about every hole drilled that I want. All the way across. Noticed a couple things. Wood's a little bit drier over there. Not solid though. Comes out like termite dust. Pretty much wet over here. This particular hole, for some reason, water came out of it as I drilled it. I noticed that it seemed to be like two steps drilling through here. So I guess there's two pieces of fiberglass that have separated. On this side, not over there. And I still have a consistent drip coming out of this hole. Oh, there goes one now at the bottom here that I drilled. So water's coming out ever so slowly, but steady. I figure all these holes now create some air pockets and dry that wood out. So maybe next week or the week after, I'm not sure yet, when my 610 arrives, I can go to town and get it done. I think I'm going to buy a manual caulking gun. I mean, maybe electric, not manual, but electric. I have a feeling my forearms will be killing me after doing all these holes. I mean, it hurts already just drilling them. Can't imagine caulking them. Now, I haven't actually drilled all the way through every hole yet, as deep as I want to go. I mentioned I put a stop on the drill bit to bring me across almost to the other side. That'll get most of that wood out and give me maximum air penetration and dry out what's left. I am surprised, however, how wet it is all the way down there. Pretty much this whole thing has been sacrificed. I didn't take off the swim platform, mainly because I just redid it last year. And I don't want to take it apart again. I've got it all 5200, nice and sealed. So I drilled around it, insert some 610 in there. It's an 81 boat, not going to last forever. I think this will be plenty. Just got to hold the engine on and keep the water out. Next thing I think I'm going to do is cut a little along up here. Straighten this out. We'll see. Just want to document what I did to help speed up the drying process. Is I took a plastic bag, actually it's a drop cloth, and wrapped the transom, but inside a bit of dehumidifier. It's been about 2 weeks now, and that white hose is just a pump to the outside and of course the power cord, and sealed it all off all around. Duct tape, clear plastic shipping tape, you can see it up here. It's all sealed off. So it's been running about 2 weeks now. Hoping to take it off today. Maybe move on to the next process. Hopefully it's drier in there. Wasn't drying fast enough, so this is my method of drying it faster. We'll see how it works. Next clip, maybe I'm injecting 610. Oh, there it goes, starting up again. Well, it's May 4th. Pretty warm, 60-degree, sunny day, as you can see. I put a new brass plug in the bottom there, just finished that. Finished re-drilling all these holes. You can see I did some epoxy already. 6 tubes. Finished about half of this transom. And that stuff is pretty hard. Fell out and stuck to that piece of wood. I'll have to break it off with a hammer probably. Now I'm ready to put the rest in. I had to order more tubes. I ordered 8 actually, just so I had enough. I'm thinking I've got some work to do up here. Actually, quite a bit of work up here. I drilled more holes up there to insert the epoxy. I want to seal this off completely. See how long it lasts. I'm using a battery-operated Ryobi P310. I tried a hand caulking gun. Practically impossible. In fact, it would be impossible. You've got to have an electric gun. There are all kinds out there. Chose the Ryobi. Alright, so I'm going to insert a tube and install some epoxy, show you how it's done. Got one set up right here. Didn't pull a plunger back far enough. There we go. Now the whole tube doesn't get dispensed. So there's a mark right about here. And I had to make a rubber gasket out of a faucet washer. Otherwise, all the epoxy was spewing out the side and landing on the ground. Now they say to take the first bit that comes through and discard it. It's not fully mixed. There we go. That should be good. pushing out the adjacent holes, which is what I want to see. There we go. I'll clean it off with a spatula in a minute. Nice. That little rubber gasket works well. There it is. Let's push some through here again. Nice. Felt a lot. Boy, that's taking a lot. There we go. Finally. Okay, I've got 2 pucks here of West 610. One cured in just air, and the other one is cured under fresh water. Just poured it into a little mold and submersed it completely. So I want to see what kind of pressure here it takes before it blows apart or whatever happens to it. So we have a press here with a gauge, and we're ready to roll. Alright, hit it with some pressure. Oh, a small piece just blew off. What do we got? 4 tons? 5? 6? 5? Oh, it's starting to crush. About 5 tons. That's about 6 tons. Crush it all the way. See what happens. 7, 10. That's holding 10 tons right now. That's pretty good. 11. I see it's coming apart. 12. Wow. You want to stop there?
I think it's just all
It
it's
cracked
doing is,
it.
yeah. All it's doing is just compressing.
Alright, let's load it up and see what happens. Alright, well it didn't come in pieces, but it did crack it on the outside edge. Flattened it some. That's pretty good, 12 tons.
Yeah.
Let's try the other one. Let's see what happens. If there's any difference in integrity. Alright, go for it. Thank you. Started cracking at 5. I heard it crack. It's about 7, 9, 8. I hear it cracking. 10 tons, 10 tons. 12. I hear it cracking. That's 14 tons. I see it split. 15 tons. 17. That's 18. That's a lot of tonnage. Alright, you can back off. Unless you want to go further. It's up to you.
Go to 20.
Go 20. Okay, let's see what 20 tons does. $20 tons. Oh, okay. That's where it is. It's still withstood. 20 tons. And still holding. Although it did crack.
But it lasted longer before it did that.
Yeah.
This, I think, is stronger than the fresh batch.
Oh, yeah. Oh, look at that. Well, not bad.
Definitely takes compression.
Flattened it. got a couple of cracks, but it didn't blow apart. Just a show of strength here. Pretty good. Tony, thank you.
You're welcome.
So the transom's painted, sanded it all down, primed it, painted it. It's Arctic white, not that it matters, but you can really see some imperfections, such as the dimples here. They didn't completely fill, they like sucked in a little bit. And I put on this aluminum transom plate here. Life sealed it yesterday. That's why these bolts are holding it in place so it'll dry, taking them out. And you can see some of the dimples up here. Get real close. Wasn't perfect, but the idea is to prevent water intrusion. And now I'm making the metal trim. That's today's project. Hopefully I get that done and hang the motor. That'd be maybe too much to ask, I don't know, but we'll see. And I just wanted to throw a little video here. Haven't done it throughout the process of sanding and painting, but that's pretty straightforward. Dimples here. That'll be under the engine. Nobody will even see that. Not that it even matters. I've completed all the 610, and this seam, which originally let all the water in, will likely never let any more water in again. Because it delaminated, I put some clamps on there to hold it in. This 610 stuff really sticks well. It keeps coming out even after you're done, so you gotta keep using a little plastic spatula to smooth it out. I mean, I can grind it later, but the more I shear off while it's wet, the less I have to grind. Some of these holes took a lot of 610. Some didn't take much. Mostly what I did was fill one hole until it came out another. And then I just took a plastic spatula and smoothed it out. Even, I think the upper bolt hole filled up with 610 from an adjacent hole drilled, which is okay. You can see down here some sticking out still. That'll have to be ground. Show more later. Put a new tube in. That wasn't easy either. This is finally done. Just gotta let it dry. By tomorrow, this will be rock hard.